All right, number 2 says brainstorm some ingredients that you could measure with a given measurement method. Put at least 3 ingredients in each column. Okay, so this first one says ingredients with measuring spoons. So we're thinking teaspoons and tablespoons. A teaspoon's like this big, a tablespoon's like that big. The next one is ingredients with measuring cups. So I just gave you some examples down here: a fourth of a cup, a third of a cup, 1 cup, something that you measure with measuring cups. And then this last one is ingredients that we measure by weight in ounces or pounds. Now, there need to be at least 3 ingredients in each column. So that means 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here. Google is going to be your friend, so feel free to try to Google this. As long as your answer makes sense, you're going to get credit. So don't worry about if there's one right answer or not. There are so many answers. As long as it makes sense, you're going to get credit. Just to get you started off, ingredients with measuring spoons. The first thing that comes to mind to me is like spices. So maybe like cinnamon. Cinnamon. Because usually we don't use large quantities of spices when we're cooking unless you're making something very specific. Ingredients with measuring cups. So I like to bake sometimes, and sometimes I make cookies. And when I measure out like nut butter, I use almond butter. That's usually with a measuring cup because I usually need like half a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to put almond butter for me. And then ingredients by weight, ounces, or pounds. So something that we may not think about typically is like pasta. Usually if you're reading a recipe, it'll say add 16 ounces of pasta or something like that. We don't measure pasta typically. I'm thinking like spaghetti noodles. We wouldn't measure that with measuring cups, and we wouldn't measure that with measuring spoons because that just wouldn't make sense. So I'm going to say here, spaghetti. Now it's your job to come up with 3 that you're going to put in these columns, 3 in each column. So you'll have a total of 9.